Welcome to the Ask SQL Family podcast. This is episode number 21. And our guests today are Adam and Patrick. Guy in a Cube.
Guy in a Cube is all about helping you master business analytics on the Microsoft BI stack to allow you to drive business growth. They are just two guys that do the work. Adam and Patrick look at how to leverage Microsoft Business Analytics to allow you to gain knowledge that is needed to shape the data your business cares about. This includes Power BI, reporting services, analysis services, and Excel. If you work with Microsoft Business Analytics products or services, be sure to subscribe with their weekly content on YouTube channel. Hello guys, thank you for...
Yo!
You should say yo!
Yeah, okay, I always...
Good with that.
I tried
You just do it randomly all the
I always want to
time.
do it.
Why?
You wanna do it?
You should, yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah, okay,
Ready?
let's do it.
One,
One,
two.
two, three.
Yo!
This is Patrick.
I'm Adam.
And we are Guy in a Cube.
So thank you guys for accepting the invitation for this podcast, Ask SQL Family. So the first question is very hard, it's like, what is your name and where do you live?
Oh my gosh. What the hell's my name?
Patrick LeBlanc, and I live in Atlanta, Georgia.
Ask him what LeBlanc means.
The white. On don français. On don français. Means the white.
What are you both doing for a living?
Oh, I'm Adam Saxton, by the way.
So Patrick LeBlanc, I live in Atlanta, Georgia,
Yeah,
and I'm a program manager on the Power BI Cat team.
Okay.
Ditto. Oh, but I'm...
But your name's not
No,
Patrick.
I'm Adam.
What's your last name?
Full name.
Yeah.
Awesome Sauce.
Awesome sauce.
Saxton. And I live in Houston, Texas.
Go Texas.
Thereabouts. And PM on the Power BI Cat team.
And he has awesome house with a
That's
We have an
pool.
awesome house.
That's good
and
answers.
I've got an awesome studio in my house for the video stuff.
I've seen that. There
It's-
will be
it's
one
massive.
question about it.
It's bigger than some people's houses.
Yeah.
I like it. I've been there. I like it.
So I think next time in Texas, like a...
Swing by, we'll do a video.
I like it.
I think it's such big in Texas.
Houses are...
Everything's bigger in
Yeah,
Texas.
everything.
Really?
Yeah.
Bigger than the other part in all USA?
It's like a...
It is.
Like
I
a
grew up in Texas. No, it's not.
He was born in
I was
Houston.
born in Houston, Texas. Nah.
No,
His whole
not true.
family's there.
Everyone but me. I have 7 of us, and I'm the only kid that doesn't live there.
Oh,
See, he says he's coming over to Houston to visit me, but really he's visiting his
Visiting the
family. I just
family.
happen to be there.
I visit Houston at least once or twice a year.
I remember
Most
we
of
talked about this.
Yes.
Most of my family are there.
Yeah.
So you both who are working for Microsoft, yeah?
Yes.
So what is your role basically? What are you doing daily basis?
I like the way you explain it.
So our team, the Power BI Cat team, because everyone says, "What's the Cat team?" I'm like, we are a team of elite. We are a team of elite ninjas that drop in and get shit done.
Get shit done.
So
Nice.
we help customer
Nice
deployments,
explanation.
pre-sales, escalation. So if someone escalates to like Satya or Scott Guthrie and it's Power BI related, it comes to our team.
Mm-hmm.
We get it done.
Nice.
We fix stuff.
We basically get to play with all the cool stuff.
Yeah.
Do roadmap
place to be.
discussions.
We present.
We present. We travel the world. We get to we have inputs into the engineering team to affect change in the product based on customer feedback. So it's very
So-
exciting.
Yeah, I
If you
a
have
couple
very good idea, we come to you, yeah?
No, you go to ideas.powerbi.com.
I know that. But if
First you
it's
go
really
there.
good
Vote it up.
idea,
Yeah, if it's a very good idea, I think you obviously can go to powerbiideas.com. And I think it's more like if you are having a issue, then I think you
Well, no, that's
goes-
when you call support.
Right, okay.
So if you're a big customer and you're
yeah.
trying to get something done and deployed and work on some cool projects, then that's usually
Then it
when we
goes
get
to the
involved.
Yeah.
cat.
okay, tell
So
me
we-
what
we
is
deal
the
with
definition of
enterprise-
big customer.
Big
then?
customer. I don't know. Name a customer.
Name someone who.
Name
I
a
think
name
it's
someone
also
that's big.
the client
ASOS.
where I am working,
Uh-huh.
my client is a big customer for
Can you say the name?
Yeah, you
it's a
can.
baby.
What?
BP, British Petroleum.
BP,
yeah.
That's a big concept.
Yeah. So and we've got showcases for like at the Gartner conference last year. So Adobe and Rockwell they did customer session on Power BI of their deployments for us at the Gartner conference. So I'm like, those are some of our customers as well.
Basically, you're in the cool team of the Power BI.
We see a lot of the struggle with our team also, and I had this issue when I was in support for 10 years as well, and it was the same thing where nobody calls support or calls our team when they're like, man, Power BI is just awesome. That doesn't happen. They call us when something bad's going on, right? We see all the bad stuff.
And then you show them
we get it fixed and we help. But
exactly, but that means you can improve something.
Well,
you know
sure.
what you need to improve.
But it also means we get depressed.
Yeah.
We're like, oh my gosh, Power BI is just not. And then we go back with the community and we do stuff at conferences that brings our hopes back up.
Yeah.
Because we know that there are people out there that love it and are doing awesome things. Our customers are doing awesome things with it too. It's just
things.
They do.
They call us when they're hitting a struggle of some kind, and we've got to take care of it.
Makes you say it.
Yeah.
Actually, I wanted to ask this question later, but we're talking about the team. That's why I want to ask. So, when you're in the CAT team, you deal with pretty much everything related to Power BI, right?
Everything. And
so, how do you keep up with all this happening?
He watches my roundup videos.
Well, you know what I learned, because I actually just joined the team back in November, and I was like, holy smokes, this is gonna be a lot of stuff. But there's guys on the team that are really good at specific things, and so like we have one guy like embedding, right, and security, and so while you know a lot about those things, when it starts to get into the weeds, you just say, hey Adam, I'm trying to figure this out. I need your help, right?
Okay.
And so it would be great to know 500 level on everything. You just can't. You can't, right? So there's a data flows guy, there's a security guy, embedding guy. I can, but not. I'm not normal. I'm not a normal person, right? I'm like a superhuman. So I'm like
I was
doing
a memory dump yesterday on Power BI desktop.
Yeah. So.
And then I ran Xperf to find a memery allocation error. It was good stuff.
Yeah.
I know when you guys did it when you showed us at the London Power BI meetup. I was like, wow.
Yep, it was awesome.
So you can't.
So the other, honestly, truthfully, so the roundup videos I do, those actually really help me to stay up to date because it forces me to like read the blogs, especially like the update blogs that we put out, and then like what other folks are doing in the community. And there was some time where I had to miss. I think I missed like 2 or 3 roundup videos. And I felt lost. I'm like, I don't know what's going on with Power BI now. Yeah. So it's like the roundup videos actually really helped me to stay up to date.
And believe it or not, like the stuff that you guys do, we read that stuff, and I do learn a lot from the stuff that people outside of Microsoft do, right? I learn a lot of stuff internally, but the blog posts, the videos, and all the stuff that other people do, we read that stuff. We watch that stuff, A lot of my videos come from that. I may modify a little bit, and I shout people out. I'm like, oh, I was working with such and such.
We'll reach out to folks, too.
Yeah, before we do it,
Well,
like I talked to you yesterday.
Personally, like, whenever I get tagged in the roundup, it was like, that's like... People can see what's happening. It's just like, I'm just happy because I was tagged in the game.
That kind of things happen?
Yeah, it's just like, I'm just happy. People can just see it on my face. So, And I wanted to ask a question.
So you say you're happy, and they're like, why are you so happy? You're like, guy in a cube? You're like, what? What is that?
Guy in a what?
Wait, what?
Guy in a what?
It's a whole different discussion.
It's 2 of them, by the way. And they're both in the cube together.
I wasn't going to go there, but...
Whoa! Oh, no. They're in a cube together. What are they doing in this cube? I don't know. You got the wrong person on the microphone.
So guys, are you working remotely from your houses or how?
I work in a cube.
I seriously actually looked when I moved down to Houston. I actually thought about buying a cubicle for my office because of the whole guy in a cube thing. And I'm like, no, because I was actually in a cube at the Las Colinas office in Dallas Fort Worth, but that's where it all started. But I'm like, no, we're done with the cube. It's a cube, in spirit. But
we both
we work remotely.
Both work remotely. I work in the basement.
I work upstairs.
I was going to ask, Like, do you
We both have
your
couches
man
there that we
caves,
I
like
do.
kind of
sometimes
thing?
have to sleep
Yeah, I have
on.
a couch. I have my desk and my whiteboard and everything in my little.
nice.
What you see on the video?
Yeah,
that's where
I
I
see,
work.
I
That's
see.
exactly where I work.
And
yeah.
where I'm at is my office.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I have a long commute. I have to go up like a flight of
Yeah.
stairs,
Yeah.
and
You
he's got to
have-
go. He's
you
got to
have
go down a flight
appropriate-
of stairs.
Yeah. Do you have, both of you, do you have appropriate silence in your studio?
It's
Mostly.
mine's pretty quiet just because I'm out in an area that's like out in the middle of nowhere.
Okay.
So the neighborhood is very quiet where I live now. When I was in a rental home before. We just moved into the house I'm in now about a year ago. So before that, I was in a rental home in the Houston area while we were looking for a house. And there happened to be a major road right behind the house that was painful. Like it's like every 5 seconds I had to stop.
Oh, really?
Oh, so horrible. So I started getting up at like 4 in the morning to do it because there was no traffic. And
Wow.
yeah, it was bad. I was so every time if you could
That's
see
why
the
you are so sleepy in
oh
some
no,
videos.
if you could see the outtakes on those videos, every other word was like I was just
Blood to blood.
Oh.
Blood to blood to blood.
No, but I'm seriously. I'm thinking about your daughters, for example.
Yeah, they're at school.
Yeah, they're at school.
So
Okay,
they also
when
know
you
too. Like
were recording
I
the
have,
videos. Okay.
yeah, I will tell them I'm about to record videos, and then they get all pissy at me because now they know they have to go to their room and be quiet.
Okay.
So yeah,
I just close the door.
The other problem I
Just close the
have,
door.
the other problem I have though is where my house is. So like the main family room area,
Yeah.
and then the stairs that go up to my office, and it's like a megaphone. So anything that happens in that family room is just blasted upstairs, and so I'm
Is
like,
it
you
like
guys have to disperse.
Okay.
So that's why I like when school's in session because I just do it. You know,
Yeah.
they're not home. Also on Saturdays, my daughter has horse riding lessons. My wife will take her to horseback riding lessons. So
Yeah,
that gives me a
makes
good
sense.
2 to 3 hours.
Yeah.
And she does that so I can record the videos while they're gone. And then my older daughter just stays in her room anyway.
I don't have these problems. I don't have these problems.
have these
Because
problems.
in Georgia, unlike Texas and Louisiana, we have basements, right? And so my basement is finished. It's 2 other stories above it. My kids are a floor above me.
Whoa.
So the middle floor is where my wife is, but she's never there, or she's all in the
Reading
room,
some books or
right? And the kids are way up, and so nobody ever comes down.
Unless the long guy comes.
Unless the long guy comes, unless somebody's cutting grass. But besides that, I just close the door and nobody comes down.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm
Nice.
just down there by myself all
Nobody
the time.
likes Patrick.
Nobody likes me, so I just
Well, your children, they're like your children
18
teenage,
and 14.
exactly.
Yeah, one's graduating this year. Yeah,
Lucky
Good boy.
man.
Yes, one more, 4 more years.
So when we're talking about the videos, how long it takes to you to record 15 minutes of...
Actually, before that, I want to ask a
Yeah,
question.
cool.
Why YouTube?
Why not?
Well, of course.
Do you have any alternatives?
No. Why did you go for why did you think of recording and putting it there than
As opposed to what?
like blogging? Or, I mean, you could probably. I genuinely, I love the concept of YouTube. I totally love it. But I just want to understand why did you start?
Let me. I'll answer the question with a question, which you should never do, but it'll lead into the discussion. If you have a problem and you're trying to figure out how to do something, where do you go to ask the question?
Forums? Things like that?
Chances are most people go to YouTube.
Yeah, nowadays, yes.
It's the number
Yeah.
two. It's the number 2 search engine in the
Actually,
world.
that's true.
Next
Yeah.
to Google, and
Yeah.
also Google's going to surface all the YouTube videos also. So that's where the audience is.
Okay. So that's where you went from.
Right.
Okay.
So that's why I went to YouTube. I did look originally. So I started doing blogging way before I did the video stuff. And originally when I started doing the video, I was embedding the videos in the blog. So I had the blog with the video. Then I just dropped the blog and I only do the video. But I did look originally at doing like Channel 9. Again, it was an audience thing. The audience the numbers aren't there as compared to YouTube. And so YouTube's got the platform and that's where I went.
That's nice. Well, I was more like thinking because you are quite geeky about all this stuff. So is it that's why you went for the videos because you already like photography, or is it because
I knew
you saw
nothing
the
about
platform?
video or photography or anything. I didn't know anything about exposure, apertures, ISO levels, none of that before I started doing all of this. I
Wow.
just learned.
But
Okay.
you've got some course. I remember our discussion last year.
So I started, first upload was December 2014, and then February of 2016, this is more than a year later, I only had like 400 subscribers, and all the numbers were flat. I got no comments, no engagement, no nothing. And so I was like, all right, we got to fix this. We got to do something. And so there was a YouTube certified guy that I followed, and he did a course where he brought in 20 creators. You had to pay for it.
Yeah.
But they brought us all in, and every week we met on Zoom and whatnot. We'd had a discussion with the guy, and we'd talk about different topics. And then we had homework where I had to go like review a ton of channels, to the point where my recommended videos on YouTube were like makeup videos. And so, which I will tell you, if you want to learn about lighting, go watch makeup videos. And then also usually the makeup YouTube personalities, they will have behind the scenes of like how they record stuff, so you can actually see their setups and like what light kits they use and all that. So it's actually really helpful to watch those. And I watch a ton of YouTube now. I'm always watching, because I'm always dissecting what people are doing, like how are they editing, what kind of shots are they using, how's the light placement, what's the color grading on it. I pick everything apart when I watch. I watch a ton of different YouTube channels. He does not. Patrick does not. Patrick, what's our editing process?
I set up my camera and I put on my mic and I turn on Camtasia and I record.
Yeah.
And then I upload it to OneDrive.
And then what happens?
And then
And it magically shows up.
I'll give you an example.
Wow.
So Marco was in Atlanta a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, this was great.
And so he was like, I said, Marco, let's record a video together. And it was something he did. And he was like, yeah, let's do it. So in the Microsoft office, I brought all my stuff. We set up, we recorded the video. Before I left the Microsoft office, I uploaded all of our audio files and video files, and we used a screen capture. Uploaded that.
This was a Tuesday night.
It's Tuesday night.
His
My
videos
come
drop
out
on Wednesday.
And so that morning, I get to...
Timing pressure.
So I get a text from Adam like around 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. I don't know, it was early. Videos uploaded. And I know this is how it happens. This did not surprise me at all. I was like, all right, cool. And so it's there. And I can see it, but it doesn't release until 11.
It drops at 10:05 Central Time.
And so I get to the office and I go, Marco, you have to look at this. And he goes... And I show him, he goes, it's done already? I was like, that's just how it works. I upload it and something happens overnight and it shows up. He goes, this is amazing. I go, it's pretty amazing. I do all this, I do this stuff and it just shows up. So the editing process happens by me uploading, then it just magically appears on YouTube.
Yeah, the magic part.
It's magic. I don't know what happens. I don't know what happens between there. But.
So what tools do you use for editing?
I use Adobe Premiere and After Effects for the actual editing. We use Camtasia to capture the screen record, but I do no editing in Camtasia at all.
Software application. I try to work with that.
Well, it's better now than it used to be.
Really?
When I started doing it, they only had a 32-bit version. They didn't have 64-bit.
Okay.
And I started getting fancier with my stuff. And so I'd end up in Camtasia with like 17 layers, and it would just crash on me. Like it just...
17.
Yeah.
He's really picky. He's really, really picky. Yeah. Really picky.
I think, I mean, but I can see that quality in the videos.
By default, there's 5
really picky.
Oh, yeah.
He's really picky. So I'm
there's 6 layers by default.
Shopping for a new camera because my autofocus and all this. He's like, you got to get a new camera. I was like, I'll get one.
He finally bought a light.
I bought a light. That did wonders.
Basically, Adam is the technical boss.
I'm the tech guy.
Adam is the director, the producer, the editor, and...
You are the actor, basically.
I'm an actor.
It's the entertainer-in-chief. No, Patrick does a lot. So we talk, like our ideas, we collaborate a lot.
We talk every day.
Patrick is the demo master. Like seriously, like he will whip together a demo. He will spend. I'm like, dude, all right, I got to think about this demo. He's like, all right, let me go play with it. And he's like, next morning he's like, man, I only got like 2 hours of sleep, but I got this demo working.
So the first bits that I was supposed to come to, I remember this, and something happened. There was a accident in London. Somebody ran. Anyway, it was not a good thing. And my wife was like, you cannot go to London. And the whole family was coming. I'm like, but I gotta go. I'm doing a pre-con. I'm doing a full day workshop. And I had spent like months building this stuff out. And so I go, ooh. So I email them and he's like, can you find a replacement? I go, of course I can. I got a guy. I know a guy, right? So I call Adam. I'm like, can you go? And he's like, of course I can go. I'm going to Bits. Yes, of course I can go. So he goes to Bits, and when he comes back, he goes, dude.
That was the most magical thing ever. I'm like, dude, that stuff was just laid out. I just opened it up and I'm like, I can do this. This is great. I have nothing to do.
What I did was I create, because it's 8 modules or something like that, and so there's there's step by step, and there's PBIX files. So if you come in the middle of the day, you just open the PBIX and you're caught up to.
If you get lost behind, just open up the next one.
I could do that.
Oh, everybody can do that.
Oh man, it was like, well, because I get worried because normally I gotta pick. It's a week before. I'm like, yeah, I didn't actually do anything yet. Can you? I'm like, oh my gosh. I just open it up. I'm like, oh my gosh, dude. That was amazing.
Yeah.
I do my part. I don't edit though. No editing.
No, he doesn't edit.
No editing.
But he'll do the demos.
We wanted to ask this question later, but as we are talking about it, it's going with the flow. I mean, like whenever you're in a session or in a video, anyway, there's a lot of humor.
Yeah.
How do you do it? I mean, like, do you talk to each other before, or is it just happens?
That's
How
the
do you
worst part.
prepare to that?
We don't. You know, we high level. What we're gonna
say, like bullet points. Like, okay, we're gonna touch on this, this, and this, and that's it. We don't talk about how we're gonna do it.
No.
Like the actual interactions we have, that's all on the fly.
It's just natural.
We just gel like that.
Yeah.
Because I think
this is why I brought him on the Guy in a Q.
Yeah, I think if we practice, it messes stuff up.
No, it doesn't.
I think it'll mess.
So today was a good example with when we were recording with Alberto, because I do a little more. I think about how I'm going to edit stuff. So I'm like, all right, we're gonna do a cool thing in this video. I'm not going to say what it is. You got to watch it. It's going to come out in a few weeks. I don't know when this is dropping, but it'll be out in March. So I had this thing in my head, and I'm trying to describe how it is, and Patrick's just sitting there like, I don't do it this way. It's like, wait, what do you want me to say? And I'm like, just say that.
It wasn't my flow. It wasn't my thing.
We got it done though.
Because I've heard this story yesterday during the Power BI Manchester meeting. I basically wanted to ask this question. When did you join to the team?
I don't even remember now.
What is the story basically?
I don't remember when I joined.
The story of how he joined. This was I started in 2014. After about 2.5 years is when I asked him to come on board. But before that, he had just started getting into Power BI. We had known each other beforehand, but I wouldn't say we were like good friends or anything like that. We had gone drinking 1 or 2 times at like Past Summit or something like that. Then he just started calling me and just asking me questions about Power BI. And I'm like, yeah, cool, what's up? And he was asking good questions, and we were talking about it. And then it got to the point where we were like talking every morning for like 30, 45 minutes.
Every morning.
Wow.
That was like our normal routine at that point, and which we still do today.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah.
More now.
Like our wives have come up to like our offices, like, are you on the phone? Like, hi Patrick, hi Adam, like hi. Like our families know each other.
That's awesome.
And then after a while, it's just like, dude, you should do the Guy in a Cube videos with me. And he's like, no. And
I need people.
Yeah.
I need people.
Yeah.
I need the audience.
We're still working on that part.
Yeah, and so it's not natural to me to sit in front of the camera and do the video because I need you guys, in the audience.
He is much better with an audience.
I feed off of your facial expressions and your body movements, and if I see people getting restless, it's time for a joke, it's time for an excursion, it's time for a story, but just sitting there by myself is kind of like, who am I talking to?
So what he's got to do, and I've gotten there too. Like my wife watched one of the videos, and she knew what was going on that day, and she's just like, she saw the video, and she's like, you faked that, didn't you? And I'm like, oh yes. Oh yes. She's like, because you sounded like you were just normally like cheerful. I'm like, oh yes. So we got to get Patrick, because I edit Patrick's video and I can tell, because we talk all the time, right? So I know what's going on in his life. He knows what's going on in mine. And I'm just like, Patrick, maybe you shouldn't record today.
He does.
Maybe just wait a day.
Wait a day.
Have a beer and then...
Nice, wow.
Yeah.
We refer to each other as our second wife.
Yeah, it's
I know.
Someone asked me, like, well, which one's the wife? I'm like, depends on the day.
I don't know how he does it. I can't keep the energy level. I can have a bad day and go present in front of 100 people, and you never know I'm having a bad day. If I have to record a video, he will know I'm not having a good day. And if you watch the videos, you can tell.
Some people don't. I don't think they pay that close attention. That they may not know. Some of them you definitely can notice.
Yeah.
Some of them it's not as obvious, but like I know.
Yeah.
Like, I just know.
Yeah.
And if I don't like the topic too much too.
He never likes the video. He says it every time. He's just like, oh man, it's just not good. Like whatever.
But that's how you can get better.
Yeah.
Well, and also like we don't scrap the video either.
He won't. And some of them I'm like, we should just not do this.
Yeah, please don't do this.
Yeah, and then after I uploaded, it's out of my hands.
We're done.
Right?
Well, and then he'll call me after. He's like, "Man, I look good."
It look good. He
Like,
just does stuff sometimes soon.
We can cut it sometimes, or it's,
Yeah,
all right.
good.
Tell me, how were you learning this? Whoa! That was funny.
That's kind of this whole story, though. No,
Yeah,
All
I know.
So it's a two-part story. So Patrick starts doing, and I had the same issue, and like honestly, it wasn't. I think it was maybe a year ago where we started getting comfortable with actually watching the videos ourselves.
Oh.
So we like go back and watch older ones, and we're like, I can't watch that. It's awful. Like we're like Mr. Robot and no personality, and like so Patrick's doing this, and I'm like, all right, Patrick. I brought you on because you're like your charisma. You're just a naturally funny guy. You're entertaining. Like I wanted the energy. Like that's part of the reason why I brought you on. And I'm like, dude, Patrick doesn't show up until halfway. I'm like, we got to fix this. He's like, all right, what do I do? I'm like, all right. So here's the trick I've learned on the video stuff. Get to the point where you're really embarrassed and it's silly and you think this is stupid. Right? The minute you get to that level and you're like doing something, you just, oh, this is stupid. You want to pull back. I'm like, don't pull back. That's right where you want to be, and it comes across on the camera great. And he's like, all right. I'm like, just do it. Okay, I'll figure it out. And he's like, all right, I got it. I'm like, what'd you do? And he's like, just watch the video.
Just watch the video.
And so I watched the video, and I'm just like, I just fell out of my seat. I was crying. Called my wife, I'm like, Chris, come here, watch this. She's like, oh my gosh. She just like walked off. And so
my daughter actually came up with the whole idea. My daughter was like, Dad, what do you say to your friends? What did you guys say when you were younger? You know, and she was like, because you are old. I go, oh, you were born in the 1900s, Dad, and I'm born in the 2000s, right? And I go, we say yo. I'm like, she goes, say that. And I go, say yo? She goes, no, you make it fun. Like, yo. I was like, huh. All right, so I'll say yo. And I'm like, yo.
And then I started doing it too. And then it just became a thing. And now we start all we start all of our presentations with a yo. We do like this thing. Like, and he was like, you just do it randomly. I'm like, no, I start everything with a yo. It's a brand thing.
Yeah,
it's a brand.
It is. It's a recognizable brand basically right now.
So
the funniest thing with the yo for me was I was walking in Seattle. Like, after we started doing it, I was walking down the street. I think it was at the past summit. Oh, no, it was at the first, it was called Data Insight Summit.
Yeah.
And I was walking down the street, and this guy was on the other side of the street. It was a group of them. They were like, yo! And I was like, what's this? Right? And so a bunch of guys were like, it's kind
So what's funny, though, is whenever we reach out to someone, like, on Teams or whatever, like, we always started off with yo. And so I was actually talking to my manager the other day, and he's like, hey, do you have 2 minutes? And I'm like, yeah, what's up? And he's like, calls me on the phone. He's like, are you all right? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Why? And he's like, you didn't say yo. And I'm like, oh man, sorry, I didn't even think about it. I was like in the middle of like 5 things, and he's just like, I just want to make sure that like you're not like you okay? Like, do you need anything? And so I'm like, all right, well that's like when your manager starts. It's a thing.
It's a thing. It's a thing.
And then the funniest thing for me on the yo was I went to a user group thing in Houston, and this nice old lady, Southern Belle kind of thing, and she's just like, oh my lord, that other gentleman you do the videos with, I just started watching his video and he did the scream and just jumped out of my monitor and scared me to death. But bless his heart, you just keep doing it.
I was just like, that's so touching. It's so beautiful. When I heard that first time, I was like, wow, that's so sweet.
It catches you off guard, though.
It
catches you off guard.
I'm very happy that was recorded.
Well, the other reason why I loved it, though, because and I knew this was going to do it for Patrick, and it does it for both of us now, and it does it for our sessions that we present live as well with the audience. Because we do it for Patrick, what helped is he does the yo, it gets the energy level up, and now he's carrying it through the rest of the video. Mm-hmm. And then in the sessions, we started off with the yo, now everyone's like awake, and we're like, all right, let's do this. Yes. And so like everyone's mind is now in it. So.
Yes. These guys are bananas. These guys are bananas.
Yeah. It's changing completely your approach, you know, the what you're doing in the next few minutes, hours.
Right? You gotta have a thing.
Yeah, it's a great way of branding and bringing the. It's a nice icebreaker as well.
It is a good icebreaker.
Yeah,
it is a good
so there's from a branding perspective, there's a great book out there called Primal Branding. And the book talks about there's like 7 or 8 components of a brand, and like one of them is rituals. Like you have to have rituals of a brand, and so like your brand, like Nikes and Apples, like they all have their thing that you can identify with. And so for Guy in a Cube, the yo is a ritual thing. The way we end our videos is a ritual thing. We're consistent on a lot of those things. And so
head over to my laptop.
Well, that's why like sometimes I do things. So well, we did like the video today. We didn't do that with Alberto, and I'm just like, whoa, time out. And they're like, what? And I'm like, you didn't do your thing. Well, I'm like, you didn't do your thing. Like that's a ritual for you. People expect it. It's just like, oh, you're right.
Head over to my laptop.
So little things like that, where it's like we do it repetitively because people expect it. The minute you don't do it, someone's like my manager, I didn't do the yo, and he's like, what's up, man? You're all right?
It was so funny. Like at the end of Adam, he says, "Or smash it if you so desire." Yeah. And so I tried to do that in one of the videos.
He just gave, and then in the video, this is typical Patrick. All right, Adam, just cut that out.
Just cut that out.
No crap. I'm gonna cut that out.
I'm
not putting that in the video. Sometimes I do though.
I can't do it.
Well, I know the answer for this, but just for the audience purpose, I'm asking. So it is your thing, right? It's not like a Microsoft thing. It's your thing. Yeah.
I mean, like, we obviously have support from, like, everyone knows we're doing it. Even when I first started doing it, I ended up being in Redmond just for a trip to visit with the product team, and that was right when James Phillips came on board. And I actually set up a one-on-one with him. I think I had 100 subscribers at that point, so like I had no audience. And I just went to him, I was like, hey, just FYI, I started this YouTube thing. It's called Guy in a Cube. I'm doing Power BI videos where I'm teaching people things and helping them with support stuff. And he's like, love it. Like, okay. And I originally thought marketing would shut us down because we're not necessarily, we just pick up our own topics. No one tells us what to do. Sometimes like marketing or the engineering team will come to us and say, hey, can you do a video on this? Yeah. And then we'll do that. We'll put that on the Power BI YouTube channel, not on the Guy in a Cube channel. And we'll brand all of that Power BI, and then.
They usually don't say the yo.
No, we're
just kind of rip it all out.
It's we're PMs on the Power BI team as opposed to just Guy in a Cube, and but everyone's cool with it. So.
Is this a secret why you added this label for some time, Microsoft employee,
we
in
have
your videos? You have to.
It's a Microsoft policy, a social policy, that you have to identify that you're a Microsoft employee.
Okay, cool.
Although most people don't notice it.
No.
It's in every video. And because people will be like, wait, you work for Microsoft? And I'm like, in the video.
So, obviously, you're not watching the video.
No, I mean, it's fine. And also, like on the Twitter handle Guy in a Cube, it says, look, Adam and Patrick at Microsoft, Power BI team. So I'm like, we identify that we are Microsoft employees. We have to. It's company policy.
Okay, So we're talking about the video. So the next question, basically, I asked this several minutes ago. So how long it took you to record the 15 minutes of video?
It takes me longer to put the demo together than to actually record the video. And so to record the video, it takes me 10, sometimes, it depends on the topic, average about 15 minutes. Then he cleans it up. I don't know what happens after that. But no more than 20 minutes to record
So the more time it takes you preparation for the demo?
Oh, it takes sometimes the demos, like I just did one on 2 tips in perf tuning. It took a little bit. It probably took me 4 or 5 hours to build out the demo because I had to create 2 different reports, set up DAX Studio, and actually I'll walk through the whole video.
We validate everything before we actually.
And then I'll email someone and wait for them to reply back, or
because we want to make sure we know some of the questions are, so we try and anticipate that. And look, this is how it works. This is.
And we'll talk to and say, oh, I'm going to do this. And then Adam will say, oh, you should do that, or don't do that, or say this, And sometimes I listen, sometimes I don't. And then, we had one, the last one I did, I wanted to have it
that's when he's not being the wife.
That's what like a good wife. Sometimes you listen and sometimes you don't.
Because I wanted to have, Power BI and DAX Studio right next to each other. So when I open the report,
I told him, I was like, all right, so do it this way. You're going to open up that, do it the way you're going to show it first. Right? And then stop, and then just re-record the other side of the screen that you want, and then I'll put them together, right? So just only talk over one of them, and then just redo the other part, and then I'll do the magic.
Yeah.
So that video took about 2 hours to record because it was 8 takes trying to do that. And I just was like,
he gave up.
Forget it. I didn't say that. I said something else. And I just said, I'm just going to record the video the way I want to record it. And then that took
came out good.
18 minutes. Oh, that video is amazing. It's because the way he did, it's amazing. You got to watch it.
Because he had the full DAX, he had both of them, they were visible on the screen at the same time. So I just took both segments individually and blew them up side by side and then put slower, faster underneath so you could see what the difference is.
Yeah, it's good. Wow. I will show you before when we pack up on the show. It's amazing.
Absolutely.
It's amazing.
I'd like to see
It's amazing. It's amazing.
It's just like, maybe, do you have any plans of doing a video about how you edit?
I actually have a plan for a whole series. I have it mapped out. I've been like wanting to do it.
Like a behind the screens kind of.
It takes so much time to do because we do 4 videos a week now, and there's other life stuff going on that
4 videos. That wasn't my idea. That was not my. I was doing 1 video.
It wasn't. So the first 2 weeks of January, we only had our normal 3 videos, and I called him. I'm like, we're going to 4 videos, and he's like, what? All right.
Because I'm used to doing just 1 video a week.
He just does 1 video a week. I'm like, we're doing 4 a week, man. And he's like, all right, what's the other one? And I'm like, well, we're gonna do 2-minute Tuesdays. Yours will stay on Wednesday, and then mine will go to Thursday. He's like, okay. And I'm like, look, we'll just either one of us. We'll just bounce whatever we got, and it's been working.
They're easy. The 2-minute.
It's been working.
They're easy. They're so easy.
And originally, I was thinking I had this fear originally, and I think a lot of people do, whether they're blogging or video or whatever. It's that fear of like, I want to start doing this, but like, I'm gonna run out of ideas. I'm gonna run out of ideas, and I hit that originally when I started doing this, but I got past it. You got to push past it. Yeah. And then with the 2-minute Tuesday, I had that same thing creeped into me for like a split second. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're going to fail at this. So we're going to run it. And he was saying too, he's like, dude, how are we going to figure that? And now we have like a list of like 20 of them that were on backlog. And like, it's not a problem now.
How do you balance it with your, like, you both have families and a day job and all these things?
Yes.
Honestly.
Well, there is no such thing as balance, but how do you do it?
Honestly, the only thing that disturbs work and Guy in a Cube is family. Yeah. That's the only thing that takes precedence, right? My little girl and my wife, hey Dad, I need, everything stops, right? But if they don't need, if nobody's complaining, that I'm down there on a Saturday recording videos, go record videos, But if they say, hey, we're going to go do this, completely stop everything and go do what they want to do. Otherwise, because most of the time we're home, or my wife's out shopping, the kids are, with their friends, and usually I'm by myself at home. So why not record a video instead of watching TV or instead of laying on the couch watching football or whatever it is, I record a video, right? Instead of binging, Breaking Bad or something else, I go,
Game of Thrones.
Let me go watch a video.
Sopranos.
Let me go record a video.
Sopranos a little while.
Yeah, I did Sopranos, right?
Who is the fan of Game of Thrones?
And so instead
of list off the dragons.
I've put off, I put, so all the stuff that, instead of just, laying around, kind of enjoying yourself. Not that I enjoy doing the videos, I really do. I just say, you know what, let me do this first, and whatever time's left, I'll go.
And here's the thing I found when I was in support too, I hit this, and then I carry it through with the Guy in a Cube stuff as well. People would ask me, so in support you had support engineer, then you could get up to this title of escalation engineer, right? You're in the escalation team, you're in the next level. And people would ask me, like, well, how do I get to escalation engineer? And I'm like, all right, well, what are you doing besides the casework? Well, no, that's what I do. And I'm like, you got to do a little more than that. Like, how are you standing out? How are you, like, what are you doing outside? Well, I don't have time for that. I'm just working cases. And I'm like, okay, well, what are you doing? What do you do when you first get into the office? Well, I work on cases. And I'm like, why don't you carve out a half hour to work on like a blog post or something like that, right? Well, no, I got to work on my case. I'm like, they can wait a half hour. I'm like, it's not going to be the end of the world, right? You just manage your time. And then they're also like, well, I need to do extra things. I'm like, okay, well, what were you doing Saturday morning?
Sleeping.
Well, I had to watch the game, and I'm like, okay, well, then that was a choice that you made, which is perfectly fine. If that's what you want to do and that makes you happy, go for it. Mm-hmm. But if you want to get ahead or you got to do these things to do that, then like, so for an example, we came out here for SQLBits. My wife's coming up on Sunday. We're going to spend a few days in Scotland next week. Mm-hmm. We still have videos that have to go out. So what did I have to do? I told him, I'm like, dude, the Friday before I'm leaving, you have to have 3 videos in the folder before I leave.
Oh.
Right.
Saturday morning, I recorded 4 videos. And then the rest of Saturday and Sunday, I had to edit 8 videos.
And
I got them all posted and scheduled
Wow.
by the end of Sunday, so that Monday morning I was flying out to England.
Yeah.
And so now this whole week, and things are dropping. They're like, "Oh my gosh, we were walking," and Patrick's like, "Holy crap, our video just dropped." I'm like, "Yeah, it's all scheduled." I don't know. So like this week and next week, it's all done already. But I had to spend 16 hours on Saturday and 16 hours on Sunday, and
to do the.
my wife understands, and like we did it. I fit in family stuff in there too, and we just make it work. I normally am up at 5 a.m. every morning, even on the weekends, and then
5 a.m.
Yeah.
even in the weekend.
Yeah.
Wow.
Gotta get stuff done.
I need to learn something from you. I'm
That's my
trying to
best
wake up
one,
at 5:30
I have
or
an
6.
amazing body clock. I haven't used an alarm in like 20 years.
Wow.
Like even here, so like coming out here, it's a different, coming over to England from the U.S. I power through it. I sleep through it. I go to bed at like 8:39 in the morning. The next morning, yesterday morning, up at 5 a.m.
Wow.
Awesome.
On the clock, ready to go.
That's really good.
So we know that you are speaking a lot, yeah? Among a lot of different conferences among the world, basically.
We don't speak at all the ones we get asked to speak.
No way, no how.
I actually spoke I spoke a lot last year.
Yeah, I don't.
And I had a strong talk with my wife and a strong talk with my manager where we said, we got to back that off a little bit. It was too much. I agree, it was too much. So we gotta change that.
How much it was too much?
Pretty much the whole month of September and October, I was gone.
It was insane.
It was a 8-week period that included 3 trips to Europe. And
last
like 2
year, you said
last September and October.
It was crazy.
It was between Denmark, Netherlands, and then Spain, and those were individual. So I came back to the U.S. in between those.
Oh.
And then because I was at other conferences in the U.S. because it was Ignite.
Mm-hmm.
So it started with Denmark Power BI World Tour. Then it was Ignite. Then
Was there a SQL Saturday BI in there?
There was SQL Saturday Atlanta.
Yep.
And then Ignite. So I flew from Atlanta to Ignite in Orlando, and then from Orlando to Netherlands for Tekorama. Then I was back for like 4 days. Then I flew to Madrid for SQL Saturday Madrid.
No.
Yeah, I remember. Like,
it was crazy.
It
was crazy.
Like wow, that's
it's
how
too
could
much.
You do it?
No way, no.
And then I was back from that, and then where did I go?
I
went somewhere else after that.
Somewhere like Mexico or Brazil or something?
No.
We did Uruguay.
We went to Uruguay.
We went to Uruguay
like the year before last.
Yeah, it's too much. It's too much.
There was somewhere else I went.
Honestly, I honestly like to do more, but you just
it's hard.
You don't have time.
Yeah.
You just
we get asked to do a lot of stuff, and like we want to do it. We love doing it. We just don't.
It's not easy.
Mm-hmm.
But what was your best trip? Like I mean,
Uruguay was pretty fun. Uruguay was pretty fun.
Uruguay was pretty fun.
It was such a small group though. It was their first SQL Saturday, so it probably wasn't the right thing to do from a business and impact perspective.
Yeah.
It was an incredible trip, and the guys down there that organized it, man, they took care of us. They were with us the whole time, translating, and like it was great.
I don't know. I guess Uruguay was.
What else?
Oh man!
Like SQL Saturday, Holland, and Data Mines Connect. Those guys took care. I've
never been there.
They took care of me. He does not as much international stuff.
I'm domestic. I'm a domestic kind of
guy. No, like we've had a good time everywhere we go.
Everywhere we go, honestly.
Ignite was fun.
I didn't go to Ignite.
Was fun because they buy out Universal Studios for the night, so that was fun.
Oh wow! Sounds good.
Ignite's fun.
Do you have any photos?
Yes, I do. Actually, so my older daughter loves Harry Potter, and she was mad at me. She found out I was going to Universal, and she's like, "You can't go." And I'm like, I have to go. I'm speaking at the thing. They're making me go. I've got to go.
You didn't have to go. And
so then I'm there, and of course, then I'm sending her pictures of, hey, look, here's me with the dragon, and she loves dragons, and she's like, angry face, kind of like, I hate you. Yeah. So we're actually going because I'm going to Orlando again in a couple of weeks for the Gartner conference.
I get to go this year.
And and so I said, I'm sorry, I've got to go back to Orlando again. And they're like, no. And so we're actually I'm taking the family. We're going to go a few days before, go to Universal Studios, and because I was like, there's gonna be a trip to some park. I know that, and they were like, my wife was not happy, and they're like, no, we're going. I'm like, okay.
Well, next time when you're in the UK, I live right next to Warner Bros. Studios.
Oh.
You're more than welcome to come and see.
Next time I come to London, I will
be going to Warner Brothers Studios.
We'll do that. Yeah. So I don't know.
All of them. We have fun.
We have fun at every single one.
Everywhere we go. Bits last year was fun. The party was amazing
Bits
last year.
Is always the best.
It was amazing.
And I brought the family to Bits because it was in London, so they helped. That was their first time out of the country, so we did that.
Was fun.
And then they came to the party too, and I told them, they're like, "Is it all right? Because I'm bringing my kids." I'm like, "No, it's great. They'll have a good time." They loved it. My wife was actually mad though because they did the tourist thing with the 9 3/4 thing where you got to pay I think it was like 40 quid or something like that to take a picture, and then they had the same setup at the Bits party where you could. She's like, "Son of a I could have just done it right here," and I'm like.
I will say,
and you could have done it with Harry Potter.
And I'm not just saying that because she's sitting here, but the users group last year.
The user group, that was the best user group
that was
ever
next
been
level users group. Not just saying that because she's sitting here with us, but that was next level.
Seriously, I still talk about that user
group. The facility,
the facilities was amazing.
Everything.
The lighting was great. I got some epic B-roll.
It was amazing.
I got a picture that I haven't sent to Prathy in about a year that I need to
They
send.
ran out of pizza last year.
They did run out of pizza.
But somebody took us to get steak.
Someone took
I'm not
us to
saying
an
that. She's sitting next to me.
restaurant.
I'm not saying anything because she's sitting here next to me.
Very good
No,
steak.
what I love
Very
the
good
best.
evening.
What I love the best was because we were getting ready and I was joking around. She's like, "Do you need anything?" And I'm like, "Beer would be good." Boom, here you go.
So I'm not saying anything because she's sitting here, but that was one of the best users.
That was the best user,
and
that room was packed.
That room was packed.
That room was.
It was amazing.
Yeah, it was like 300.
It was like 300 some odd people. There
it was like a power
standing
hour.
room in the
It was
back.
like a power hour.
It was I mean, like I enjoyed it.
It was
the
amazing.
way you guys started and the way you were talking was just like I don't know how many people I
So
know.
that's an example of we don't really talk to each other on that. I didn't necessarily know what he was gonna do. He didn't know what I was gonna do.
No, we just knew we were gonna do some demos. He's like, "Wait, who's gonna go first?" I was like, "You go first. I'll go first."
I mean, I think it's obviously whatever we see on the screen. It's like we can see there's a lot of natural talent.
Yes.
And,
cooperation,
but it's great.
Yeah, thank you.
We enjoy it.
And I still remember our dinner after the event.
The party
it was also good.
It was great. That steak was like.
I didn't know where we were going. We went downstairs somewhere, and it was underneath the road.
And somebody took my coat, and then we sat down, and so good. It's so good.
So we know that you have this amazing flow during the session. So are you preparing yourself for a speech, or are you doing some kind of things?
For the sessions that we do?
Yeah.
It depends. So some of it depends where some of the stuff we've done before.
Yeah.
So for that we don't really prepare much. We know what we're gonna do. Some of it we'll maybe do a little updates and touch ups because of new features and things of that nature. If it's net new, we'll spend more time on it.
Yeah.
But not to the level that I know some people do, where they have to rehearse it and they time it. We don't do that.
So slides, I hate slides.
Yeah.
Hate.
I'll throw some slides on there.
And so I'll kind of put some stuff together, and that's in bad.
He's the demo guy.
I hate slides. We have a session tomorrow.
He's great. I told you, he's the demo master.
We have some session. We have a new one.
We have a whole lot of stuff.
We have this new one called Intimate with Desktop.
We need to sit down and talk about that.
We need to talk about
I'm not so sure what we're
doing. I put all the
there.
demos together for it. It's great. It's phenomenal, and it's not your typical. It's just different things.
We're just showing things that you may not have
people
used.
may not have used
or even know about.
You may even know about it. You may not even know that it's there, right? And there's not one slide. There's a hey, this is us, and ask questions.
Contact and
and then all the PBIX files will go on a OneDrive somewhere, and we'll give you a link, and you go check them out. So now there's a new one that we're doing, paginated reports. I did spend some time putting some slides together. I haven't given them to them yet. Yeah. They're awful.
We still have to get together on some.
We're
doing the keynote tomorrow. We actually need to spend some time a little bit on that.
Doing the keynote tomorrow.
We want to make sure that
we'll get it sorted. We'll get it sorted. So not a lot of preparation unless it's something we're doing new. Yeah. And then most of the time.
But even then, it's not we don't do rehearsing timings. We don't do any of that.
Somebody will put it together and go, okay, this is where you're going to talk. This is where you're going to talk. This is where you're going to talk.
Because the other thing, we know timings. We know our timings,
and
we know that we can stretch it or pull it back. Yeah. We know how to do that. And so we don't worry about that. We never worry about that.
I think when you know the content, it's kind of it kind of makes it easy.
But then it's like I know when to interject almost intuitively. Yeah. When to say, or I almost can feel when Adam wants to say something or know to say something, because I'll slow down. I go, you got something to say? You want to add something?
It comes to
same way, right?
We just know each other.
It's
It's like
it's a natural thing.
Yeah, I mean, I did presentations with other people.
Honestly,
and it's not easy.
It's not easy. It is not easy.
Amazing.
I refuse to present with other people. I refuse. No. I've been asked a couple of times. Hey,
I don't like doing that.
I think the last time was a couple of past summits ago, and I was like,
I've had to do it before, and and then all of a sudden I start doing what we do, and they're like, I'm
not doing it. I'm just not doing it. I'll just present by myself. No, I'm sorry. I'll say no, thank you, no, thank you. Yeah. Well, you can't come to the conference. That's fine. I go to enough.
Do other stuff.
I'll record some videos at home.
Yeah.
You know.
But I think that's part of why Guy in a Cube works, though, is because of the natural stuff that we have.
Flow, exactly. Yeah. So, Patrick, well, it's a question to you. This is like
Here it comes.
Yeah. Well, you're a great presenter. I'm sure you know that, and everyone.
Don't tell him that. Because there was one time where his head was so big he had to walk sideways into the room.
I'm gonna get serious.
Okay, so but who you look up to? I mean, to
be honest, this is true, and I'm not gonna say that because he's sitting in the room. Adam.
Nice.
I really, really do look up to Adam. Adam's been. So I was in sales at Microsoft, and it was. I'm not gonna say this. It just wasn't a little bit. It wasn't that great, right? The role, because I'm like this. If they invited me in to talk to your company, and I'm with this guy, and this is not knocking Microsoft, right? And the guy's selling them data lake, and I go, I don't need data lake. You just need a SQL server, right? You need an Azure SQL database, the smallest one, right? And I'm like, oh my God, I gotta. And then they'll come back, Patrick, you just cost me, $1 million. I'm like, yeah, but it's the right thing to do for the customer. And I would, every morning, I'm like, oh God, I gotta go and talk to these people, and I gotta listen to this. He goes, it's okay, dude. We're gonna get you out of that job. We're gonna get you out of that job. I said, okay. Then I started doing Guy in a Cube, right? And it was never, people would say a lot of stuff about Patrick, right? He's not technical enough. He's not, don't worry, dude. Don't worry about it, right? And then,
made it happen.
He made it happen.
No, it wasn't me, right? I mean, he was doing the work.
But we all can see in the videos and everything.
Yeah. And honestly, I even on the team, right? I don't feel like I belong, right? But he goes, man, dude, don't worry about it. Just keep doing what you're doing. So, and there's other people, right? So, honestly, one of my biggest idols is President Obama, right? I'm a black man. And he was the first brown president, right? And for other little brown boys who are facing a lot of challenges, in America.
It's a role model.
Right? He's a role model because it's not who he was as a president or what he did as a president. He became the president, right? I don't care what he did or how bad he did or how good he did. He became, so now I can say, wow, it's possible for a young brown man to, and Will Smith, I'm just kidding. I kid. Adam, I have to tell you the story about that.
There's been multiple occasions where, last night it happened where it's just like, has anyone told you look like Will Smith? I'm like, oh, here we go.
No, I'm just kidding. So, one of the, really, because, and you got to think about, when we work together, right, Adam will, I go, man, how do you do this? And he go, hang on a second. And they'll send me a link. So he's not I'm not going to tell you how to do this. Go figure this shit out yourself, right? So sorry, bleep that out. Go figure it out, right? And because I'm going to go figure it out. I'm going to have some questions, but yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us, listening to this podcast and time spent jointly. You can find this podcast on the website SQLplayer.net. Share this episode if you like it, and let us know if you want to hear a specific person from the SQL community, or maybe about an interesting topic of technology.
He broke the table in my hotel room.
Broke the table?
So first time, wait, there's a story here. So Patrick said,
I want to start imagining you.
So I was wearing
there was three of us.
I was wearing a button-down shirt to the meat place, And I was, we got back to my room. Patrick said, I got to go to my room and change real quick and I'll come down. And I'm like, all right, because he had to get his recorder thing too.
And then I came back and they started without me.
No, wait. And so then I'm like taking off my shirt because I was wearing this underneath.
Because it's hard to get
I'm
those
taking it off,
buttons
and
off.
Alberta's like, "Oh, finally, I get to your hotel room and you're taking your clothes off." And then he breaks my table, and I'm like, "Wow!" And then we're.
And then we break it.
They broke the table before I got there.
Patrick comes in, touches it, and the whole side falls off.
They broke the table before I got there.
Now we're having a threesome.
You guys started before me. I can't believe it.
This is going to be a good podcast.
Thank you very much for listening to this podcast, and I hope you enjoyed. That was only the first part of our conversation. If you desire more, the second part will appear at the end of May 2019. I hope you will be back, and please leave a comment to share your thoughts.